Good morning, children. Welcome to the online class of Social Science of Class 10. Today we will go through the chapter Federalism. Today we will talk about two different federalism. Before going through that, let me tell you in what way the power is shared between the center and state. Depends on the historical context, the way the government or the country was formed or the federation was formed. In this way, we can find two different federalism. One is called coming together federation and another is called holding together federation. Under coming together federation, the independent states come together on their own to form a bigger unit. While under holding together federation, a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. Under coming together federation, all the constituent states usually have equal power. But under holding together federation, the central government tends to be more powerful as compared to the state and local government. Now, coming together federations are available in USA, Switzerland, Australia, while holding together federations is available in India, Spain and Belgium. Now, we will talk about what makes India a federal country. Children, you know that India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. Soon after independence, several princely states became the part of the country. The Constitution of India declared India as a union of states. Although it did not use the word federation, the Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. How? Let us see. We can see that all the features apply to the provisions of Indian constitutions. The constitutions originally provided for two-tier system of government. The union government, or what we call the central government, representing the Union of India and the state government. Later, a third tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayat and municipalities. As in any federation, these different tiers enjoy separate jurisdictions. The constitutions clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative power between the union government and the state government. Thus, we find in a constitution three types of list. One is union list. Union list basically includes the subject matter of national importance, such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication and currency. They are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on this matter throughout the country. The Indian government alone can make law relating to the subject mentioned in union list. That means we can say union list basically includes all the area upon which only and only the central government has right to decide. The second list is state list. It contains subject matter of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state government alone can make laws relating to the subject mentioned in the state list. That means state holds the supreme power to decide on this matter. The central government cannot intervene in this matter. Now the third list is called concurrent list. This concurrent list includes subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state government, such as education, forest, trade union, marriage, adaptation and succession. Now on this current list, both the union as well as the state government can make laws on the subject matter mentioned in this list. But yes, there is a clause. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. Okay? Apart from these three lists, there is another list mentioned in our constitution, which is called residuary list. Basically, this residuary list includes all those matters which has not arrived or appeared the moment the constitution was formed. And on this matter that comes after the constitution formation, only and only the central government has the right to decide. As for example, you might have heard computer, software. This matter came long after the constitution was formed. So on this matter, only and only the central government has the right to decide. Basically what we have seen, sir, yes, India is a federal country. Why? Because the principles or the basic features of federalism exist in India. The most federations that are formed by holding together do not give equal power to its constituent unit. Okay, and we know that India is a holding together federation. That is why you may know that the power that the states are having is lower as compared to the power the central government is having. Okay, even we have seen previously that there are certain states like Jammu and Kashmir which have separate constitution, but right now it is not, because the present government has removed Article 370. Okay, so this says that yes, apart from central government, the state government has power to decide, upon which the central cannot intervene, neither can stop the state government to do so. So this power sharing between the central government and the state government is basic to the structure of the constitution. Now this power sharing, it is not easy to change. If the central government desires, the central government cannot change. The parliament cannot change of its own this arrangement. Any change to it has to be passed by both the House of Parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Thus, it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. Now, another, we have Supreme Court. Yes, that is judiciary. This judiciary plays an important matter in overseeing the implementations of constitutional provisions and procedure. In case of any dispute about the division of power, the High Court and the Supreme Court make a decision. The Union and the state government have the power to raise resource by levying taxes in order to carry on the government and the responsibilities assigned to them. So basically this discussion finally concludes that yes, India is a federal country. Okay children, this much today. Hope you have understood. Thank you.